Hey, hey, T-Sippers. What it do, what it do? What it do, what it do? Hey, T-Sippers. Hey, T-Sippers. Ooh, 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 ooh. Hey, T-Sippers. Hey, T-Sippers. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yes, come on in. Come on in. We gotta celebrate today. Hey, Specs. Hey, we gotta celebrate today. We gonna have some celebration today. But before we do, we gonna have to talk about what's going on with your president. We got a celebration today, though. You here for it? Woo! Y'all had me going last night. I couldn't even stop. Don't stop, get it, get it. Don't stop, get it, get it. I felt like Luke and them. 2 Live Crew. Cause that tea was hot. It was hot. So hey Janet, we missed you yesterday. I hope all is well. Hell yeah, last night was fire. Not fire. It was fire. It was fire. I started to put it on members only, but I said, nah, they need to hear that. They need to hear that. Especially about old Erica. It was just good. It was just good. But anyway, without further ado, because scorching. And I had a nerve to be having some hot sauce in my mouth with some fried fish, baby. That's just about Louisiana. But anyway, before we celebrate this 30 million views, what? Little Auntie Fee. Oh yeah, Janet, you missed it, baby. And it was 2 of them. But we was up, what, 2, 3 in the morning, I think. I felt like it was, oh my God. Big shot. But listen, y'all Auntie Fee reached 30 million views. I didn't do it. Y'all did it for me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So we're going to have to party. We're going to have a celebration. But before we go there and get there, so let me say this before we go, before I get in. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. So listen, they want to take Trump into custody. I'm hearing there may be an option. It may be a possibility. I don't know. But some strange things is going on. Now Ukraine, he done made deals with Ukraine. If he made a deal with Ukraine, which is already what Putin was thinking on the cold. Oh yeah, and that picture resurfaced again. That picture resurfaced. Hold up. Hold up. I'm gonna have to go there. I know it came out a couple weeks ago. What is this? Oh no, I ain't trying to share. Hold on. I know it came out a couple of weeks ago. And folk acted like they ain't know nothing about it or they hadn't seen it. It came back out again. It's resurfacing. Let me be the first to say it. It is most definitely resurfacing. I hope. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Whoo. Yeah, thank y'all, thank y'all. You understand? My appreciation belongs to y'all. I would not have made it if it was not for the grace of God first, and my tea sippers and the viewers and guests. So thank you. And Lord, Big G, Big G, you know I thank you. So, hold on. Ouch. Let me, let me drop this. Let me drop this. This right here. Thank you for 30 million views. Huh? Woo! It's a celebration. I just, wow. Wow. I hope I have done it some justice. I greatly appreciate it. It is absolutely an honor. It is an honor. And I greatly appreciate it. So shout out to you. Okay? Give yourself, let me say that. Give yourselves a round of applause for helping me make it here. Okay? You're welcome, Janet. You are so very welcome. So before I move on, I'm trying to snap this. Shout out to you. If I wasn't holding this, I would be giving y'all a round of applause. So I'm like, whoo, 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 whoo. Thank you. Thank y'all. This right here, this celebration is not just for me. It is for you guys also. We share it, okay? Okay? Because we go hard in the paint together. I try to take y'all with me everywhere I go. Ain't that a song? Take the Lord along with me everywhere you go. Hey, Monty Trucking. Look what we did. Look what we did. And to everybody who has shared my videos, thank you. I greatly appreciate you as well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. She said, hey. Tasha said, hello, everyone. Hello, all. Hello, hello. Girl, I really am happy to see that star by y'all now. Y'all get y'all memberships. That's another way to support Auntie Fee. Y'all know I go hard. Although I make it seem easy. It really is not. So before I go on, I just wanted to congratulate you guys as well because y'all helped me. And without y'all, I couldn't have made it. Let's be clear. And Lord, I thank you. Now, hold on. Let me get back to the other stuff I was trying to get to. Hold on. Let me get here before I forget. Oh, yeah, now I know. It's resurfacing. I'm telling you, it's madness. It's just a matter of time before that other one pop out. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. When I got it yesterday, Max sent it to me, but my point is, yes, I had already showed the tea sippers. But when I got it, it wasn't like this. It didn't come like, oh, shoot. Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't know all of this was attached to, oh, I seen that one. Hold on, y'all. Oh, hold on. I seen that. That's his daughter. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know if I need to show that. Y'all not gonna believe it. Okay, so this resurfaced again, and they put a whole little song and dance on it. It got some music, I think, but I'm not gonna play it. Hold on. But when I got it, I didn't realize that I got it on a different device. So I didn't realize it came with other pictures. Oh my God. They really ought to be ashamed of themselves. There really has to be some swift justice that comes through, y'all. It just has to. Lord, please make it happen. So it resurfaced. It resurfaced. Picklegate. It has resurfaced. Hi, Prentice. I said, And I did say, oh, some more stuff finna pop out. It's finna pop out because I know I had this a couple weeks ago. And it was not from this same person, right? So I'm like, okay. Now, what I didn't know is when I got it, because I was on a different device of him about to get on that pickle. Ooh, see, this is why this man is pushing bombs and releasing and acting a fool and trying to start wars on top of wars, trying to make the Bible happen like he God. He trying to force it to happen. And we gonna think, oh, God allowed this, so this must be real, and all of this is just staged. Cause he think he God. I don't know how he think he God when he bending on his knees to a pickle. Hell, is the pickle to God? Or are you? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, but how you think you God? How you trying to? Anyway, what I didn't know was that there was an arrow to this. You understand? I didn't realize that it was more pictures. Now, I knew some stuff was going to pop off. And yes, it's a picture I haven't seen before. And it is very disturbing. Very disturbing. Bill laid back, like jump on it. Who do that sound? Oh man, I can't. What is that sound? And he galloping. Oh man, I can't even think of it. Yeah, that's what he finna gallop on that. Yeah, on that horse, not horse. Hey Debbie, Kimasabi. No, it ain't keep it. What is he saying? Oh, who can tell me the song that I'm thinking of? When they performing, he he galloping on that horse. Was it no, it wasn't. What's that fine dark-skinned brother? It wasn't Mo D. What's his name? Something Mo D. Cool Mo D. I don't Kemosabe. It ain't Kemosabe. But anyway, he finna jump on that pallywhacker. Yeah. So for the folk who stand, show me the picture. Well, here it go. Cause it's surfacing again. What is that song? Da 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 da. Get this hobby. Da 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 da. Da da dum 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 da da da. Yeah, he finna. Yeah, that's what Bill look like. He's like, okay, yeah, shit. Okay. Look like he know what he do. Oh yeah. He showed us that he knew what he was doing when he had that mic and he was, yeah. But anyway, let me put the screen back up. The real problem is his supporters. Oh, yeah. Shame on them. Shame on them. I think y'all gonna be able to see through that thing. Hold on. Dun, 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 dun. Jump on it. Jump on it. Suck my dick and get on it. Y'all know I ain't got no sense. Okay, so I'm finna try to let y'all see it if it'll show up. Okay, so those are fine because this little girl's. Did y'all just see that? Do her like Monica, big boy. He was always in competition. That's why he don't like women. Cause he want to be one, and he in competition with women. I can hear him talking like somebody. I can do whatever she did. I can do it better. I can do it better. You know, sometimes you hear people that like same-sex relationship will say they know how to do it better than a female. I could teach females how to, you know. I guess that's where the old Donica is, y'all. So listen. The picture I'm going to try to glance by is not this one. But this same little girl. I don't know if they was playing. But they have her in a position that she shouldn't be in. So I'm going to move by quickly. But I'm not going to take the backdrop down. Y'all okay with that? Did y'all see that? That's horrible. That is horrible. And I don't like the position that he has his own daughter in. And why are they taking pictures? I'm beginning to think that Barron may be Ivanka's. I'm going to show you this. Saw it. No, that was Epstein. Because Epstein was who was sitting on her lap. Well, he had his arms around her. Let me see. Right here, he got his arms around her. And that was one picture, and then the next one is that one. And then down here is when he patting on Bill Pickle. Because it's a big deal. I don't know if that's how Trump do the victims, but this is a picture of him. They blacked out her, you know, they put the strip over her eyes. So right here, she's not in bondage. The other picture, she is. Okay? So let me show you this picture of the other one. Oh man, this is crazy. This is just crazy. It is just, this is really crazy. And when we heard old boy talk last night about this, you know, we have to come to the reality of the realization that these people, you know, in political positions, elite positions, whether we knew it or not, this was their normal. You saw it? And this is true. See, now I know this is his child. She grown now. And I don't know how old she was, so I can't say that she was, you know, hold on. And she's not tied up about, but I just don't even like this picture. That's a bed. And some stuff that I just don't like that. I don't like it. Why are you taking pictures like this? I don't like it. And I was a daddy's girl. I don't remember little dresses like that in the daddy's lap. I just don't. Y'all double tap the face of y'all screen, get the lights up. And I think the other pictures, I think I've seen them before. I'm just not digging it. But let me put this down just in case something pop up that I don't know nothing about. So hold on. That other picture of little girl, I've seen that with all of them. And I think this was Trump's kids. I think that was Ivanka biting on her nails. Just as nervous as she want to be. And I think, I used to think that was Don Jr. or Eric, but Eric is younger than her. So I don't know who that child is. But she nervous as hell. He's a very sick person and needs to be charged. Oh, yeah, he do. Absolutely. 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 Now, I don't know what this email is. I can't. I don't know what they're trying to say, so let me. Y'all know my eyes started going. I think my eyes is doing better since I've been sleeping with the little, the steam eye thing. I really think my eyes getting better. This is just too small. Can anybody see that? Michael, is this from Michael Wolf? No. Oh, no, that's the people who put this up. But I don't know what he's trying to show us. What is the message saying? I can't see the message. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for the ones who missed the live last night. There's no reason to be holding and kissing. I don't like nothing that looks anywhere similar to how a man holds you eliminated. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Somebody has been eliminated. Let me go up close. Broadcast channel. Asil. Oh, wow. Hold on. I'm going to have to do it this way. So last night, y'all, for the ones who missed it, I can't remember who the guy was. Oh, he was one of the January 6th. And Clarence Thomas and his wife were involved. Can y'all see this? Asia, market in Asia, Bank of America. Can y'all see this? India became the most preferred equity market in Asia, Bank of America. That goes. And so it's talking about, is that the devil? Oh, that's that designer stuff. One of the 4 terrorists behind the, I don't know what that is. It's been a little by secure. Okay, so all of this is in the Epstein files. Last night's show was epic. Oh, wow. Yeah, found out that Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court judge, him and his wife, they were all involved with the January 6th, the insurrection on the Capitol. Jeannie Thomas, I think is what he said her name was. Yeah, it went down. And Erica Kirk. Oh, man, y'all got to go back and watch that live. Yesterday was epic. That's all I'm going to say. A lot was uncovered. And Erica was on the phone with the doctor. So that's how that guy got the information about the steel neck or whatever information, although he did not violate HIPAA, he got permission to talk to him by way of Erica Kirk. She was on the phone. Okay? Just so you know, let me get back over here now. Let's hear about, they need to get him off the, yeah. His wife, I can't remember exactly what, I don't know, I can't remember what he said about it. I may have to revisit it because I just know I was shocked about Jenny, Clarence Thomas' wife. They were all involved. They were all involved. And they were in contact with Jared Crutcher, is that his name? Kirkner or whatever Ivanka's husband's name is. Yeah, they all in cahoots. Yeah, imagine that one. All that came out last night. So now we know, in my opinion, why Erica Kirk did not tell Candace to stop. Hell, cause Erica was trying to protect, she didn't know had already fed Candace some information and made her look stupid. Okay, let's go. Hit the like button, y'all.
Imagine waking up to headlines saying that Donald Trump is being openly discussed as someone who should be taken into custody. Not sanctioned, not condemned, but taken into custody. And the reason is something that would have sounded unthinkable a few years ago, which is that Donald Trump authorized and personally directed the kidnapping of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro outside of any recognized legal framework. Within hours, international law experts were not debating policy, they were debating jurisdiction. Could this trigger universal jurisdiction? Does this meet the definition of an international crime? Would Trump be at risk of arrest if he travels abroad? If an American president orders the extrajudicial kidnapping of a sitting foreign head of state, it's certainly not diplomacy. It's certainly not foreign policy. It's obviously darker. But does it justify the arrest of Donald Trump? And this is what is now being discussed. Once a country does this to another, once a powerful country decides, we can just grab a foreign leader if we don't like him, it becomes open season. And there are, in a
his
sense,
wife was calling the
rules
protesters.
and no longer
there we
norms.
go.
And suddenly the question is, will Trump be detained if he sets foot in certain countries? Should he be detained in such a situation? Now, people always assume the United States is immune to that type of thing. It might happen to the Venezuelan president.
How to the world?
To the American president. I mean, listen, maybe that's true. Maybe it wouldn't happen to the American president. But in a fact-based
Till the world said, come and y'all come in, take your shoes off and hit the like button.
Which country you are from,
you sit
either the law
on
or it isn't.
my good
and
couch.
The same legal logic
I love
the
it.
state uses to justify detaining foreign leaders,
I love
at least in theory, could be turned around against Donald Trump. That is what is now the president. But it's not going to happen to the American president. I mean, listen, maybe that's true. Maybe it wouldn't happen to the American president. But in a fact-based world, international law doesn't care exactly which country you are from. It is either the law or it isn't. And the same legal logic that the United States uses to justify detaining foreign leaders, at least in theory, could be turned around against Donald Trump. That is what is now rattling a lot of the people that are concerned about this. It is not they liked Maduro. Most people, I mean, listen, the majority don't like Maduro unless you like authoritarian autocrats. But if the rule becomes whoever is stronger can kidnap whoever is weaker on the international stage. In a sense, every leader everywhere is fair game, including ours. Now, we've already heard that in Colombia, in Mexico, in a number of places, there are conversations happening about the protection of the leader. Because what the Maduro fiasco has exposed is you might think your president is safe, but they may not
Yeah, what we
actually
gonna
be
do
as
if they
safe as
run
we
in there and
think
get
from
Trump out the
international
bed in the middle of the
kidnapping.
night?
And so that is now a
They can
discussion that's
have
happening
him
in
good.
many other countries. But what about in the United States? When you think about,
Oh well,
the
what they say?
bluster and the
Oh
familiar
well.
posture of someone that acts as though the rules don't apply to them. That could work domestically for as long as Donald Trump is in the United States. I think it would be very unlikely that what happened to Maduro would happen to Trump in the United States. But what about internationally? The more
There's a
that
lot
Donald
of
Trump
threats going on
treats
right now.
this entire Maduro escapade like a flex, like a feat of strength, the more I assume other countries are going to start asking, why should they restrain themselves? And the part that Trump supporters don't want to hear is that this has nothing to do with left and right. The Democrats and Republicans is a topic on this show. Democrats versus Republicans is a topic of importance in the political space. But this is simply about, is the United States governed by law, or is it governed by the impulses of one very orange man? And once you normalize
Have a party
extrajudicial
instead of
force
thank
against
you,
foreign leaders,
Prentice.
you can't be
Oh, you talking
shocked
about
if the world decides the gloves are
if
off.
they
And you know
grabbing?
what? Maybe it's not
I
Trump,
thought you was talking
but
about my
other
30
countries
million views.
could also start hijinks or funny business with lower level officials, diplomatic Americans who are in other countries. I mean, this has the potential to get extraordinarily ugly if the gloves are really to come off. Now, the reality, of course, is that there is one person to blame here. It's Trump, who has dragged us towards this with recklessness, supported by the sycophants around him, who are either taking advantage of a guy who is in cognitive decline and doesn't really know what he's doing, or are even feeding him some of these ideas themselves. Now, if your assumption is no country would
Let
ever
him have him.
try to arrest or detain Donald Trump, you might be right. I am not here to tell you Trump's getting arrested next time he leaves the United States. I'm not here to tell you that. But what I will say
I hope so.
is that many international crises start with the assumption no one would ever do this thing or that thing. And then someone does it, and all of a sudden we find ourselves in a changed world. So keep it in mind, and it is stunning that there are now discussions. Could Trump get arrested? Should Trump get arrested?
Yep.
Is the Secret Service alone, if traveling abroad, enough to keep the full force of another country's law enforcement apparatus from detaining Trump if that's what they decide that they want to do? The core issue in political journalism isn't access to facts, it's really framing. Different outlets can
Hold on.
start from the same underlying facts
Hold on.
and still produce
Thank you. Now, oh boy, son. Oh Lord, this fool just done put us in all type of trouble. All type of trouble. Let's go.
And now we turn
Hit the
to
like button,
Venezuela.
please.
People around the world are reacting to Nicolas Maduro's capture, his words in court, and his son defending his father and demanding his return.
His
And
son.
now we turn to Venezuela. People around the world are reacting to Nicolas Maduro's capture, his words in court, and his son defending his father and demanding his return.
ABC's James Longman has the very latest from Colombia on the Venezuelan border.
This border has been getting busier and busier every day, a sign perhaps that Venezuelans are just getting used to the uncertainty, but also that there's not much really changed inside the country. Yesterday we saw a huge display of continuity by the regime. Nicolas Maduro Guerra, his son, gave a speech to the National Assembly. He echoed the words of his father's attorney in that U.S. courtroom when he said that his father had been kidnapped and that if that was normalized, then no country in the world would be safe. He was surrounded by all the lieutenants of the Maduro regime, people who kept him in power for so long, people sanctioned by the United States, but people who assembly. He echoed the words of his father's attorney in that U.S. courtroom when he said that his father had been kidnapped and that if that was normalized, then no country in the world would be safe. He was surrounded by all the lieutenants of the Maduro regime, people who kept him in power for so long, people sanctioned by the United States, but people who the White House says they will now work with, including Delcy Rodriguez, the interim president. She was sworn in yesterday. We have heard reports of gunfire in Caracas outside the presidential palace. The White House says they will now work with, including Delcy Rodriguez, the interim president. She was sworn in yesterday. We have heard reports of gunfire in Caracas outside the presidential palace.
Christian.
Unclear why that is. Perhaps a drone was spotted in the air, but it does show that there is nervousness on the part of the regime. They want to keep control. We've seen security forces out on the streets chanting, loyal always, traitors never. Meantime, there has been severe criticism by the United Nations Security Council about that US operation, not just from allies of Venezuela like Russia and China, but also from US allies. The French said it chips away at the international world order. And there is deep concern about all the countries that Donald Trump has threatened since that capture of Maduro. They include this one, Colombia, Cuba, Mexico, and of course, Greenland. James Longman, ABC.
Yeah, Greenland is an issue.
Construction is set to impact overnight traffic at LAX this week, as if it isn't
Hold on.
bad enough already. The work.
Hold on. Let me see if he says something a little different on this one. His son's speaking
Whether you
out.
have money or not, I recommend you buy
Y'all,
it.
it's 198 people in here. I only have 35 likes. Get the likes up for me. Double tap.
Without drilling. It extends.
Double tap the face of your screen. Double tap the face of your screen. Get the likes up. He needs to stay out of other countries' business. Exactly. Can y'all double tap for me? If you're on the face of your phone and if you're on your computers, hit the 3 dots at the top.
Al pueblo de Venezuela, gracias totales.
To the people of Venezuela, total thanks, as they say out there. Total thanks. We love you. We love you very much. Peace, democracy, sovereignty, dignity, unity, struggle, battle, and victory. And to you, Dad, I tell you, you made all of us in the family strong people. Here we are, fulfilling our duty until you return. The homeland is in good hands, Dad. And soon we will embrace here in Venezuela. And you will see the kids.
Yeah, but are we gonna get
you will see them,
injured and lose lives because they mad at him?
Venezuela. Long live
And I'm
the
gonna show y'all
homeland.
pictures of some
And
of these
here we
people that
stand
got on the
firm for
live.
whatever we have to do for
The
our
majority
homeland.
of them look like they were
Para
Cubans.
lo que tengamos que hacer por nuestra patria. El 2026 ha comenzado con el reto
2026 has begun with the challenge of strengthening our national sovereignty and our collective capacity to defend our right to the future, to free our kidnapped leaders, prisoners of war, and to guarantee the happiness and peace of all the people.
paz de todo el pueblo. Luchemos con
His mama and
inteligencia y
daddy been
audacia
kidnapped.
para lograr la liberación del presidente Nicolás Maduro y de la diputada Cilia Flores.
When they get gangster,
Let us fight with intelligence and boldness to achieve the liberation of President Nicolas Maduro and lawmaker Cilia Flores, just as Cilia and
I
my
don't
dad
think he
taught
that
us.
gangster.
I am a militant willing to serve in the comprehensive defense of the higher interests of our people and of our
He's a
Bolivarian
militant.
Republic
What
of
he say?
Venezuela. And lawmaker Cilia Flores, just as Cilia and my dad taught us. I am a militant willing to serve in the comprehensive defense of the higher interests of our people and of our Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. I have the conviction that with unity and more unity, with unity and more unity, with unity and more unity, we will prevail. They may have kidnapped Nicholas and Cilia, but they did not kidnap the conscience of a people that has decided to be free. To you, Delcy Aloyna, my
Mimi,
unconditional support
he
for the
is
very
calling
hard task that
the
falls to you.
prison of war.
Count on me, count on my family, count on our firmness to take the right steps at the helm of this responsibility that now falls to you. And we stand firm in absolute unity to achieve the objectives of peace in Venezuela, to move the country forward and for Nicholas and Cilia to return.
Tengo la plena fe
I have full faith as a believer in our Almighty God. By the way, the true owner, master, and Lord of Venezuela, no one else but God, holds the destinies of Venezuela in his hands,
which sooner rather than later will be with us, and that thanks to all the struggle of the people mobilized inside and outside the country, they will return. Our eyes will see it. We will be witnesses to that historic moment. Have no doubt that this will happen. In the name of Almighty God, we ask it and He will fulfill it. Amen.
Pasar. En el nombre de Dios Todopoderoso se lo pedimos y va a cumplir. Amén. Presidente Nicolás Maduro no es un dirigente circunstancial.
President Nicolas Maduro is not a circumstantial leader. He is part of a historical lineage forged in the struggle for independence and the dignity of peoples. He was trained by Hugo Chavez in the ethics of responsibility, in the awareness of sacrifice, and in the certainty that the homeland is always above any personal interest. That is why, even in the face of the most serious aggression, we know and see that he will remain firm, serene, and up to the historical challenge that he had to assume. He knows his role in history and showed us the sign of victory, the one we need to move forward and prevail. They do not kidnap a man. They do not kidnap a man. They are challenging a historical lineage. And if they are Monroe, we are Simon Bolivar.
No secuestran a un hombre. No secuestran a un hombre. Están desafiando una estirpe histórica. Y si ellos son Monroe, nosotros somos Simón Bolívar. El derecho internacional ha sido ultrajado.
International law has been trampled. It is despised and was violated in all its senses. International law does not protect positions or symbols. It protects human beings. A president does not cease to be a father, grandfather, and citizen for exercising the sovereignty of his people. Those who violate that law today not only attack Venezuela, they attack basic principles of humanity that the world swore to defend after the tragedies of the 20th century, of the last century.
Juró defender después de las tragedias del siglo XX, del siglo pasado. Hoy es Venezuela. Mañana puede ser cualquier nación que no decida someterse.
Today it is Venezuela. Tomorrow it could be any nation that decides not to submit.
That's true.
This is not a regional problem. It is a direct threat to global political stability, to humanity, and to the sovereign equality of nations. Today the world, its peoples, its governments, must make a decision. Raise our voice for peace, for respect for international law, for sovereignty, for our right to exist, or remain silent out of fear. Peoples of the world, to you I say, international solidarity with Nicolas, with Cilia, with Venezuela, is not an optional political gesture. It is an ethical and legal duty.
Concilia con Venezuela no es un gesto político opcional. Es un deber ético y jurídico.
Now he talking about they'll find a reason to, oh man, I don't want to play with you, Trump. They'll find a reason to impeach me. Trump warns the House of GOP. Yeah, dog. You should have thought about that. Absolute U-turn case against. Oh man, you taking me out of order. I need to see this though, so before I mess up and not be able to find it. Y'all, please, 191 people in the house. I only have 44 likes. Get the likes up.
And I'm Trey. You know this is offensive lineman, but
with the passing of each day, Donald Trump's fake charges against Nicolas Maduro are getting exposed. Not that anyone ever doubted that Trump had illegally invaded Venezuela on bogus charges. The charges that he made accusing Nicolas Maduro of running a non-existent drug cartel.
Yep.
But it's now become official. It has finally confirmed that we were all right in our suspicion against the rogue regime of Donald Trump. Yesterday, these bunch of depraved thugs presented Maduro at a local court in New York before heaping more humiliation on him by parading him on the streets of the city.
Hey, Harvey. Good job. Oh.
thugs and human devils, to be precise, can go to any extent to humiliate fellow humans. We've seen their true colors in Gaza. So no, I wasn't surprised seeing this visual from New York. But what's astonishing is that the Trump administration has now spectacularly confessed to its crime of using fake charges against Nicolas Maduro. Don't take my word for it. This is what pro-Israeli and therefore pro-Zionist American New York Times has reported. Read the headline by the New York Times. It says, Justice Department drops claim that Venezuela's Cartel de los Soles is an actual group. When you read the details of this extraordinary confession, you will get a better understanding of the criminal action of these thugs. The New York Times reported that the new indictment of Maduro and others on charges related to drug trafficking omitted a crucial element of the original charges. The criminal organization that Maduro supposedly ran, according to Trump and his fellow criminals, was called Cartel de los Soles. But what is Cartel de los Soles? You would be shocked to learn that this organization never existed. It never existed. Trump and his criminal colleagues in the rogue regime of the US used this fictitious term to malign a head of state before kidnapping him with his wife. The original indictment filed against Maduro is a fictitious term to malign a head of state before kidnapping him with his wife. The original indictment filed against Maduro in March 2020 in the regime of the US used this fictitious term to malign a head of state before kidnapping him with his wife. The original indictment filed against Maduro in March 2020 in the Southern District of New York has said that the kidnapped Venezuelan president was the head of Cartel de los Soles, which according to the US claims was a drug trafficking organization comprised of high-ranking officials that operated between 1999 and 2020. But as it emerged, Cartel de los Soles isn't a real organization at all. It's a slang term invented by the Venezuelan media to describe corruption. This was like someone accusing Trump of being the head of a mafia organization called Trumpism, and then using this pretext to kidnap him and his wife after bombing Washington and killing scores of people. Just see the level of absurdity of these clowns that the US State Department run by thug Marco Rubio even designated Cartel de los Soles as a terrorist organization as recently as in November. Congratulations, my dear American friends, for electing a bunch of murderous and illiterate clowns as your rulers. Then Trump today boasted about killing many people in Caracas during the illegal invasion of Venezuela and kidnapping of Maduro and his wife.
You know, people are saying it goes down with one of the most incredible. It was so complex. 152 airplanes, many. Talk about boots on the ground. We had a lot of boots on the ground. But it was amazing. And think of it, nobody was killed. And on the other side, a lot of people were killed. Unfortunately, I say that, soldiers. Cubans.
You think it's funny.
But many killed. And they knew we were coming. And they were protected. And our guys weren't. You know, our guys are jumping out of helicopters. And they're not protected, and they were, but it was so brilliant. The electricity for almost the entire country was, boom, turned on. That's when they knew there was a problem. There was no electricity. Caracas, there's no electricity. It's not the only people with lights were the people that had candles. It was just off. So we sort of got them a little by surprise, but it was brilliant tactically. It was an incredible thing.
Do you have cavities or holes in your teeth, bad breath, or yellow teeth? Don't pull your teeth out. Amylane tooth armor contains hydroxyapatite, a natural...
Does he sound like a decent human to you? He is a deranged sadist in desperate need of treatment.
He's a disease, what? Sadist.
This is what the UK government, led by Keir Starmer, is supporting. This so-called human rights lawyer has refused to describe the US action as a breach of international law. Yesterday, he refused to turn up in Parliament. Sadist in desperate need of treatment.
It was a brilliant.
He in desperate need of treatment. I agree.
Incredible thing.
Does he sound like a decent human to you? He is a deranged sadist in desperate need of treatment. And this is what the UK government, led by Keir Starmer, is supporting. This so-called human rights lawyer has refused to describe the U.S. action as a breach of international law.
So it's
Yesterday, he
organized
refused to turn
crime,
up in
John
Parliament
W.
and instead sent his pro-Israeli Foreign Secretary, Yvette Cooper. As expected, she was hung, drawn, and quartered by the opposition and her own MPs.
I agree, Lily.
Here are some examples.
It's organized crime.
If a large and powerful country abducts the leader of another, however abhorrent that leader is, and then tries to intimidate the smaller country in order, it says itself, to gain access to its resources, doesn't the Foreign Secretary agree that this should be called out?
Absolutely.
Not just by Britain, but by our Western allies, who should be calling it out for what it is, a breach of international law. It is not for the country that is breaking the law to say whether or not it has broken the law. It is for the West, surely, to stand up and say, call it as it is.
It was the Prime Minister that decided to disregard the United Nations Charter when it came to Trump's bombing, killing, and kidnapping of a head of state. I think it speaks volumes that the Prime Minister has chosen not to come to this House to explain his decision. The reality is this: if it were Putin doing this, the Prime Minister would not be saying, oh, it's up to the Russians to decide.
We are witnessing an existential threat.
I agree with him. Trump has made us the laughing stock. You're right. It's embarrassing.
To give it even the meekest of defenses.
And had no reason to really do it other than to steal and kill. Destroy so he can rebuild and put
when will the Prime Minister and
his hotel brothels
find their voices and join that chorus of condemnation?
During that attack, the Venezuelan president and his wife were abducted from their home and taken to the US on bogus drug-related charges.
Bogus.
This Labour government is now refusing to assess whether this is legal. So I ask the Secretary of State this: if a foreign power accused the British Prime Minister of breaking its domestic law, bombed targets in the UK, killed dozens of British citizens, and abducted the Prime Minister and his wife in the middle of the night, would the government be able to say that was legal? Or is international law only something
it would be protest, outrage, bomb, all type of.
And this Labour government anything more than Donald Trump's poodle?
You can watch the entire debate, which runs for over 2 hours here. This was always about oil, as rightly admitted by the US representative at the United Nations Security Council yesterday. They invaded Iraq and destroyed that country after looting their oil. Then they invaded Libya and destroyed that country after looting their oil. They invaded Syria and destroyed this country after looting their oil. They have plans to invade Iran and destroy this country for oil. And the same bunch of criminals have invaded Venezuela for oil. This is what the US representative at the UN has said yesterday.
You cannot continue to have the largest energy reserves in the world under the control of adversaries of the United States, under the control of illegitimate leaders, and not benefiting the people of Venezuela, and stolen by a handful of oligarchs.
Those calling the shots are big oil companies. Let's not forget this haunting headline in the aftermath of the Iraq invasion on bogus charges of weapons of mass destruction. BP, British Petroleum, benefited with billions of dollars worth of oil from that genocide. Similar companies
There's corruption
are now
everywhere,
getting
and
ready
when
to
people
make billions from Venezuelan oil.
hide behind God and
I
God's
will
name,
leave you
I
with this
hope
clip from a
I'm
parliamentary
not
proceedings
judging.
held in the UK.
I wonder
Remember the ban on Israeli hooligans
about
from
the-
Maccabi Tel Aviv in October last year? Pro-Israeli British MPs are refusing to let go of this humiliation to their masters. So they call the officers from the West Midland Police
I
for
agree.
the
Trump
second
makes
time
us
today.
all look like
Also giving testimony was the top functionary
just make a
of the
not
Birmingham City Council.
mega.
How dare anyone take away the sense of entitlement of these privileged Zionists? But see the glaring irony from
Say it, not just Satanists, Zionists, devil worshippers. I need for people to understand that's just not a cute little name. No. They are trying to convert, force, intimidate Christians into Zionists. And it's funny how people don't want to recognize or don't want to or say, I don't necessarily believe in God and how did, Jesus get here. But Zionists, devil worshipers, isn't that funny? How the devil worshipers know that they want to be, when they sold to the devil, that their rite of passage to, I guess, hell. I don't know. I mean, I don't know where they think they going, but they know, right, that it's real. They're not targeting any other spiritual Christian. They say Christians. They went from Zionists all these years to now they are focused and taking over, manipulating, rewriting, whitewashing Christians, to manipulate Christians. They're not saying Buddhists. I don't want to call out religion. They're not calling out any other one. Why? Why, I wonder. So when I hear people, God bless them, but they sit up there and try to debate you about God and, who begat who, or how. Well, how? Who was here before him? And all of this crazy stuff. What does it have to do with your salvation? I'm going to be honest. I didn't even really, until now, I'm being transparent. As a darker shade of the 50 Shades of Brown, I never wanted to, when I thought about entertaining what color he was and, the Israelites, the history of it, I didn't want to touch it. Not because I didn't believe it, but because I didn't like the fact that it was only about proving that Jesus was on the darker shades of the 50 Shades of Gray. 50 Shades of Brown. But past proving that he was black, what does that mean to black people? I'm just saying he black. Okay, but what does that mean to you? Is that going, knowing that he was a brother, or we of that lineage? Is that gonna make you want to be more like Christ? Is it going to change your perspective? Is it going to encourage you to give up sin? Is it going to encourage you to surrender? Is it going to encourage you to ask God to renew the right spirit within? Is it going to make you get there faster? That was always my take. Okay, but what does that mean? So you just want bragging rights? But is it gonna get you closer to accepting Christ as your personal Savior? What is it about? So I really never wanted to entertain that, because once you start asking people at that time, is it going to make you be a better Christian? Then they dumb me down. So if you happy to know, or you want to push the word, wouldn't that make you want to be closer? I didn't get that. Nor did I get why Black Lives Matter only when non-black people unalive black people. Shouldn't Black Lives Matter to everybody? Everybody who take our loved ones away from us too soon, or, why is it only an issue when someone that is not as they brown is not as dark as our brown? Because again, they come from us. I'm not going to erase that, Now that I know how intense what this plan is with this administration, I'm going to put it out there. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But I'm trying to explain to you why because it only mattered, it's still black and white. And it just needs to be solid. Your reasonings need to be solid. And the same push for Black Lives Matter, it needs to be the same intensity when black people kill black people. If black lives really matter. That's just my take on it. Well, good, Gat Pack. Good. Rereading. So it takes on a different texture for you now. And just to, and I thank God. I promise I do. I really, really do. Because a lot of people a lot of Christians were going to go, oh, because I've heard this dang near all my life about, oh, that war is about land, it's about brothers, it's about, no. Jacob, and we ain't hearing that no more. Have y'all noticed that? We are not hearing this is about two brothers, Esau and Jacob. Have y'all noticed that? I haven't I'm gonna be honest, since Charlie Kirk and the two brothers gig is up. The two brother gig, that's up. No, that's how Jacob was turned to Israel, and when his brother came, he was expecting a war, and his brother embraced him. So no, it ain't. What y'all talking about? Now we are not. Now I'm saying they really have. So when they came in these new easy reading, Black Lives was a joke, cause they killed each other. Yeah, I'm just saying. But it needs to matter to us first, because the reality of it is, with the black on black crime, black lives don't matter to black people. I gotta keep it real. Do all lives matter? Yes. But black lives can't just matter to white people and not black on black crime. I'm just sorry. We have to read the missing books and not the whitewash, then you'll understand. Yeah, but they may not. Because what happened, you gotta ask God for understanding. And I think a lot of the revelation, because I've been knowing about the missing book of the Maccabees. I've been knowing that. But let's keep it real. Until you understand that a lot of the Bible, and I'm gonna go out to say, when the new easy reading, the woman's book, they just all of a sudden came out with a whole bunch of different Bibles, and certain things was taken out and replaced with easier words. And I think, as far as in my lifespan, the trickery, I believe, happened when the new easy reading Bibles, and there are tons of them, came out. Especially now that I'm knowing that the Zionists were behind the Schofield study Bible. So it just became a whole market to get you away from I'm not going to say the original, but the King James Bible, if I can say that. And I am so thankful that when I got into the Bible, my learning, my study, I still, when I recite things, it's still in that original the King James Version, and not the easy reading. I mean, I appreciated the easy reading. However, yeah, it was just something about it. Ethiopian Bibles all the way to the tablet. I agree with you totally. We have to do better as a person. Only way it's going to change. Yeah, we have to start asking God for the things that is said in His Word. We have to ask Him to, as we surrender unto Him, ask Him. He said, if He said that with the renewing of the mind, you got to change your mindset. You got to change your mindset. How do you change your ways? By changing your mindset. How do you get to close to righteousness? By changing your mindset. How do you change your mindset? You need to change your prayers. You have to get in control of your emotions, your thinking. You have to lean not to thy own understanding. So I just, I'm gonna move on, but like one of the worst to me, I'm not gonna say worst, but one of I'll never forget when that woman was challenging me at that retreat. Oh my God. When one of my questions was, do we have choices? Is that really true? Oh, First Lady jumped on that. So, yes, everybody have a choice. Yes, everybody have free will. Yeah, we have free will to accept Him. It says we have to accept Him as the person inside. And I was so serious. And at that time, this was an ex-boyfriend's mom who I didn't, kind of like when you're young. I wasn't young at the time, but when I used to date her son, we were like high school sweetheart kind of thing. And I was in a book club with his sister. And I went to this retreat. And for some reason, you know how when you're young and you date your mama and them, they really don't be like, they kind of blow that one out. So I never really thought she liked me. I never did until that day. And it's about to make me bring tears to my eyes, because when I was asking these questions, she stopped the First Lady and said, wait a minute. We're not going to do this. She is sincerely asking these questions. She is seeking knowledge. She stopped her because she was about to go in. But because I was challenging God's word and His truth, and she slipped and said, do you understand what you're asking? Yeah, because I took her down there. Do we really have choices? How can we say we have choices? I understand free will, but free will is just to accept Him. You have to accept Him as your personal Savior. But outside of free will to accept Him or not, do we have a choice of sin? And she was saying, yes. I said, well, how can we if the sin, the breaking of the skin of the fruit opens up sin? Because of Adam and Eve. So past that, we don't have a choice. It's punishment from our forefathers. So where's the choice in that? And she paused and said, lesson comes from sin. She said to me after Miss Washington stopped her, and what I felt like stood up for me and said, "No, we're not going to do this. This young lady is diligently trying to seek him." And she's asking for you to explain what you say is true. And she said to me, "I hear you," because I took her down. I took her down to the thief on the cross. And once she got to the point where she understood where I was taking her, and she knew that the answer was going to be, we do not have a choice of sin. That's why we all sin and fall short. No one is without sin. Why? Because the sin seed was in you before you was placed in your mama's womb. So when you came out, you was a sinner. And you haven't done nothing wrong. So how do a baby have, yeah. So now that I think about it in my head, like that lady said, do you know what you are saying? No, I know what you don't want to say. She said, what you are saying, that means that all of what we have been taught has been wrong. And I said, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So when I think about what's going on now, y'all, I can see where the whitewashing and the playing with God's word and altering the word. And again, I can only go back as in my lifetime. I remember the change and the shift, especially even with the mega churches, was during the time that of the Bible changing, and where it made it easy, where it made it lazy, where it made that what you would read would be what their plan, what the devil's plan was. They planted bad seeds on purpose for a takeover. It was out for control. So that's why I can't let nothing pass. So I said all that to say, yes, we got to call it what it is. When he said he's a Zionist, absolutely. He's a Zionist who's trying to take over Christians. No other religion but Christianity. Stay woke. So I'm going to suggest this to people who don't know Christ. I gotta tell you, the devil don't want any other religion, spiritual relation. He don't want nothing. He wants Christians. Who did Trump say? Christians. He didn't say Muslim. He didn't say Buddhist. He didn't say he's whatever. He didn't say none of them. He said Christians. So there's an attack on Christians. Why do the devil want Christians? So for people who be like, I don't believe in all that stuff, can't nobody explain. Yeah, but the devil don't want nobody but them who believe in Jesus Christ. You know why? Because he know, this is just my opinion. This is just my opinion. He has control over everybody else. God told him, you can tempt, but you can't have their soul. Ain't that what he said? You can tempt them, but you can't have them. He ain't say that about nobody else but his chosen one. So we got to stay woke, y'all. Let me move on. He don't want them other people. So for the people who don't believe in it, you better die with him. Yeah, you better die with him. That's all I'm gonna say. Cause the devil don't want them. He don't want it. Cause in his mind, he already got you. Let that sink in. Let's go.
Today's proceedings. 5 out of 7 members of the Home Affairs.
What happened? Let's go.
Second time today. Also giving testimony was the top functionaries of the Birmingham City Council. How dare anyone take away the sense of entitlement of these privileged Zionists? But see the glaring irony from today's proceedings. 5 out of 7 members of the Home Affairs Select Committee admitted to having links with Israel in one way or the other. And one of them had the audacity to question the conflict of interest of 2 councillors with anti-Israeli views on the committee that decided on the ban of Maccabi hooligans. Such audacity.
Before we start, if members of the committee could declare any relevant interests, and I will declare that I am a member and officer of Conservative Friends of Israel.
I'm a member of Labour Friends of Israel, Labour Friends of Palestine, but I'm also 40 years the spouse of Lord Mann, who's the government's independent, unpaid advisor on anti-Semitism.
And I'm the all-party parliamentary
you are absolutely, yeah. Bless you, thank you.
Sorry, the chair of the all-party parliamentary group against anti-Semitism.
A healthy liver helps your body process food.
All right, Dad, what are you making?
My new go-to morning smoothies.
Yeah, I need for y'all to double tap the face of y'all screen. If you're on your phone listening in, or if you're on your computer, if you don't mind, hit those 3 dots at the top right corner and hit the like button for me. You know, right now is not the time to be holding back and keeping quiet. No, they talking about a bag, talking about a price on our head. Yeah, it look like they got a bag on Christians' heads. I mean, they paying $7K to debunk Candace on. I'm like, shit. But she telling the truth. So how many people you think? That's why old boy went on that performance last night. This is war. Come on. You know, I'm like, wait, what? Y'all, come on, double tap. Double tap the face on your screen of the phone. Oh, I switched lengths of the charger. No wonder. My likes, double tap, y'all. Come on. Double tap.
This is the secret.
I'm a member of Labour Friends of Israel. I travelled with Labour Friends of Israel to Israel in May of last year. I also attempted to travel to Israel.
Let me get to the next one. Hold on. $7K? Woo-wee. That's why old boy was acting a fool. This is war. If you on war, this is war. It's like, why they acting? Why he? Shit. $7K. $7K. I'm getting here, y'all. Come on. Ukraine. Big mistake. Big mistake. Okay, yeah. So, who? 55. Okay, let's go.
Also today, we are learning more about the men who died in Maduro's compound when he was extracted by the United States military. Turns out many of them are Cuban, not Venezuelan. NBC6 politics reporter Hatzel Vela, who worked inside of Cuba as a journalist for quite some time. Hatzel, you know so much of the country. I know you join us now with the very latest on what you've learned.
And Roxy, if you've worked in this country, you've studied this country, you know historically the Cuban government has denied having any military presence in Venezuela. But now they're admitting 32 of their own died in the U.S. military attack.
Excuse me.
You're looking at pictures now of the men the Cuban government says died in combat in Venezuela. On state-run television, Cubans were told the men were in Venezuela fulfilling missions at the request of the Venezuelan government there. The men ranged in age from 26 to 67 years old.
No hay tropas de seguridad de Cuba en Venezuela.
Interestingly enough, back in 2019, here's a Cuban official denying the allegations that Cuban military was in Venezuela. But again, now confirmation 32 died in that extraction where Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was captured. This morning, the president talked about the Cuban involvement.
Nobody was killed, and on the other side, a lot of people were killed. Unfortunately, I say that, soldiers. Cubans, mostly Cubans, but many, many killed. And they knew we were coming.
How did they know? So was it a sneak, or did they know you was coming? Which one is it?
Cuban intelligence has been working hand in hand with the Hugo Chavez and subsequent Maduro governments.
I think it'll be very difficult.
So did they know
to bring in Cubans
he was
to
coming?
replace the ones who were killed or have now gone into hiding, etc. So I think that in that sense, this has debilitated the intelligence structure considerably, particularly monitoring the opposition.
A lot happening when it comes to this issue. We're working to get you more reaction on this developing story. We'll have more for you later on. For now, reporting live in the newsroom, Hatsabala, NBC 6.
Hatsabala, did they know? Did the U.S. know we was coming? Did they know we was coming? Or did they not know? Did they know we were coming? Is this another one of Trump lies? What Venezuela soldier attacked by U.S.? Ooh. Did they know we were coming? No, heck no. Stop that. If he'd known, he'd left the country. Like you gonna do when you think you're about to be arrested. You gonna disappear just like Epstein. Hold on. Said 55 people. Let's go.
Mamá huevo, qué locura.
55 Cubans and Venezuelans.
Mamá huevo, qué mierda es esta.
$55 military losses revealed. Losses revealed. Wow. Raid, total emerges. 55. So he don't wear his makeup when he in the house in the middle of the night? Somebody said he making deals. They say he done already made some deals.
Good night. Happy New Year.
He said Happy New Year. He did say that.
Late last night and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation
I don't want to hear
in the
this.
capital.
I don't want to hear him bragging. If that's all that's on here. Nope. Again, for the people who wasn't here in the beginning, thank you for helping me reach 30 million views. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Trump considering using military to take Greenland.
Finally, a meal service that works.
Thank you so very, very much. Greatly appreciate it.
Two significant developments tonight involving the security of Europe. First, on Ukraine, there's been a declaration of intent from the leaders of the UK and France that would pave the way for British and French troops to be deployed if a peace deal is reached with Russia. The aim to deter a future attack. Now, it came at a meeting in Paris of European leaders, members of the so-called Coalition of the Willing, hoping to agree security guarantees for Kiev.
Gavin.
President Zelensky described it as a huge step forward. And Steve Witkoff,
that's
the
who
US envoy, said
Clarence
it marked a big
Thomas'
milestone.
wife was in communication
But the other key issue
with
for European
him.
leaders at their summit was how best to handle Donald Trump's increasingly tough rhetoric over the future of Greenland,
Judge Clarence
the
Thomas' wife.
semi-autonomous region of Denmark. Tonight, the White House said utilizing the U.S. military in furtherance of the goal of acquiring the territory is always an option. Bravado or a genuine threat. Might the U.S. military attempt to seize by force land belonging to a fellow NATO country? Well, more on that in a moment from Sarah Smith at the White House and Katya Adler, who'll be live in Paris. And we'll have analysis from Chris Mason here in the studio. But first, James Waterhouse.
But first, get the likes up.
From the European Summit.
As their name suggests, this mostly European coalition has always said it's willing to help Ukraine after the fighting stops, but never how. In Paris, though, there was the first bit of detail. A promise from the UK and France to send troops once a ceasefire is in place. We're told thousands as part of a reassurance force across land, sea,
Hey,
and
Dorothy.
air.
This is a vital part of our ironclad commitment to stand with Ukraine for the long term.
This group of almost 30 nations also promised to help monitor the frozen front lines to make sure fighting doesn't break out. But the most influential people in the room weren't seasoned politicians.
Oh, he walked. He got a bad model girl walk. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. He got a bad walk. Ooh, he look like he walking the runway, y'all. Oh my God. Y'all check out Jared. What is it, Kushner? Look at his walk.
But the most influential people in the room weren't seasoned politicians,
you
but
better.
Donald Trump's
Strong
friend, real
J.
estate investor Steve
Strong
Witkoff,
J.
and his son-in-law,
Strong
Jared Kushner.
J.
But the most influential people in the room
You better
weren't
go.
seasoned politicians, but Donald Trump's friend, the real estate investor Steve Witkoff, and his
He
son,
got a hell of
Jared
a
Kushner,
walk.
both now
Girl.
senior ambassadors.
Let me see
European
that.
confidence to help
Let me see that walk
to make sure
again.
fighting doesn't
Strut.
break out. But the most influential people in the room weren't seasoned politicians, but Donald Trump's friend and real estate investor Steve Witkoff and his son-in-law Jared Kushner,
It's
both now
too
senior
nice. Be here.
ambassadors. European confidence
What
to
you
help
say,
Ukraine with
Dorothy?
troops
I don't
has been
understand that.
hampered with an American reluctance
He like
to
he
step
got a
in if
model
there was
walk.
a direct confrontation with Russia, although not
Please.
now, they claimed.
The president does not back down from his commitments. He is strong,
for the country of Ukraine and for a peace deal.
Those words might have been more reassuring if Donald Trump hadn't staged an extraordinary military intervention in Venezuela and repeated his desires to take over Greenland, a Danish territory. This US delegation has also been accused of being more friendly to Russia than Ukraine. Before the meeting has even started, European leaders have put out this statement in support of Greenland after Donald Trump's repeated claims of wanting to annex the territory. So you have this scenario where the ambitions of NATO's most powerful member are making the rest of the alliance nervous. Europe is trying to unite around Ukraine against Russian aggression, as well as attempting to take America with it. And we don't even know what Moscow will agree to. In these geopolitical times, this is a continent having to tread carefully. James Waterhouse, BBC News, Paris.
Well, what about that statement from the White House tonight saying the acquisition of Greenland is a national security priority for the US and that using the military is always an option? Alarm bells have been ringing across capitals right across Europe. Greenland and Denmark now want talks with the US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. In a moment, we'll hear from Katya Adler in Paris, but first let's talk to Sarah Smith in Washington. This statement, it does seem a little bit strange, certainly for European leaders, that there is the possibility that troops might be used to take Greenland.
If wellness is for everyone, why does it feel...
Yes, it's an option, the White House said today, and I think this has come about because President Trump was clearly so delighted by the success of the military operation in Venezuela that it may have given him an appetite for going after other foreign targets, because it was very shortly after the arrest of the Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro that he started talking again about his desire to acquire Greenland. And then today, the White House press secretary gave this statement to the BBC in which she said that President Trump has made it well known that acquiring Greenland is a national security priority of the United States and that it's vital to deter our adversaries in the Arctic region. The president and his team, she said, are discussing a range of options to pursue this important foreign policy goal. And of course, utilizing the US military is always an option at the commander-in-chief's disposal. Now, also today, a senior White House official told Reuters that President Trump does want to acquire Greenland in this current term, so that's at some point in the next 3 years, and that he was looking at options of purchasing the territory from Denmark or forming some kind of very close alliance with the island. So there are definitely a range of options on the table, but anyone with any doubt about where Donald Trump thinks that he sits in the Americas and his desire to extend his influence across the Western Hemisphere should look at the image that was posted yesterday, a very moody-looking Donald Trump with the clear statement on it that said, "This is our hemisphere." He means the Western Hemisphere. And by that, he includes not just that North America and Greenland, but Central and South America as well. He thinks that America has the right to control and influence what happens in what he considers to be the US's backyard. And he is moody-looking Donald Trump and his desire to extend his influence across the Western Hemisphere should look at the image that was posted yesterday, a very moody-looking Donald Trump with the clear statement on it that said, "This is our hemisphere." He means the Western Hemisphere. And by that, he includes not just that North America and Greenland, but Central and South America as well. He thinks that America has the right to control and influence what happens in what he considers to be the US's backyard. And he is definitely flexing his muscles on that this week.
All right, Sarah, thank you for that. Sarah Smith at the White House. Let's go to Katya Adler, who's in Paris. What's been the reaction to all this from European leaders, Katya?
Well, of course, Clive, the reason that so many European leaders were here in Paris was as part of the coalition of the willing. What they really wanted to do was try a stable future for Ukraine after aggression from Russia ends. And they need the United States on board for that. The risk is over Greenland is that they end up going head to head with Donald Trump, because Greenland, yes, it is an Arctic island, but it is a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark's. The Prime Minister of Denmark, Mette Frederiksen, was inside the meeting today. She's a key EU ally for many of the European leaders here today and a key NATO ally of the United Kingdom's. But in the end, at this meeting at the Élysée Paris, there was such a Greenland-shaped elephant in the room, Clive, that 6 major European powers, including the UK, France and Germany, made that joint statement and said the only ones who can decide the future of Greenland is Greenland itself and Denmark. But is that really enough to contain Donald Trump's ambitions? As we've just heard there from Sarah, he's put all sorts of unilateral possibilities on the table to acquire Greenland, whether to buy it or to take it by military force. And what we've seen so far since Donald Trump was re-elected as president is European powers dancing this really difficult diplomatic dance to manage Donald Trump. Yes, to stand up for European values or allies, but always trying to avoid his ire or to provoke him. But will that still be possible? The Danish Prime Minister says if he takes Greenland, that will be the end of the transatlantic alliance, NATO, that Western Europe has relied on for its security since the end of the Second World War. And if Europe continues in this very, very careful attitude with Donald Trump, in the new world of big power politics that we now live in, that Donald Trump seems to relish, Europe risks at best just being a bystander and at worst being trampled underfoot.
Denmark. Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, let me get to what I already got picked. Hold on. I need for y'all to double tap, y'all. I need for y'all to double tap the face of your phone. Double tap. Or hit the 3 dots at the top. Double tap. Just like that. If you have not already. Or hit the 3 dots at the top right corner in. I'm an hour and 38 minutes in. I need for y'all to come on with it. Okay, so that go 55. I just... Oh, that was this morning. Y'all know they found 20 million more documents. I don't know if I covered that. That's what I was supposed to cover earlier. Oh, man. What time is it? Y'all get the likes up. Come on. Ooh, come on. That's 17 minutes. I don't know if I want to play that one. Let me hear you. Y'all, my likes ain't up.
There are a few theories floating around as to why Trump invaded Venezuela, all of which I'll speak about in a few moments, but none more insane than this. The New York Times is reporting, quote, Mr. Maduro in late December rejected an ultimatum from President Trump to leave office and go into a gilded exile in Turkey, according to several Americans and Venezuelans involved in transition talks. This week he was back on stage, brushing off the latest U.S. escalation, a strike on a dock that the United States said was used for drug trafficking, by bouncing to an electronic beat on state television while his recorded voice repeated in English, "No crazy war." Mr. Maduro's regular public dancing and other displays of nonchalance in recent weeks helped persuade some on the Trump team that the Venezuelan president was mocking them and trying to call what he believed to be a bluff, according to 2 of the people who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to talk about the confidential discussions. In fact, here's the video footage of the dancing that the New York Times report referenced.
No crazy war, you know? Please, please, please. Just peace. Just peace.
Now, was he mocking Trump? Probably. Unless the world is so unfortunate as to have two despots who just so happen to have the same old white man dance. But let's be clear. Having someone mock your dance moves is not a justification to engage in a regime change war. I mean, my God, what are we doing here? And this is the guy who was elected in 2016 because a woman would be too emotional to be president? And yet this should come as no surprise, considering Trump is almost unilaterally guided by his ego. It's why he surrounds himself with groveling sycophants who give the North Korea lady a run for her money during cabinet meetings. It's why Republican elected officials would rather put at risk their own jobs by saddling themselves with a disastrous economy and foreign policy blunders rather than speak out and receive Trump's ire. It's why Trump will disavow anybody who doesn't offer him total, complete, 100% loyalty, including Michael Cohen, George Papadopoulos, Gordon Sondland, Rex Tillerson, Mike Pence, Kayleigh McEnany, Ronna McDaniel, Lauren Boebert, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. If you are looking for peak insecurity, you found it in somebody who is desperate to be viewed as a strongman. Also, what's even more insane is that Donald Trump isn't even ruling out sending Americans into Venezuela to fight.
Does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, you know, they always say boots on the ground. Oh, so we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it. But we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly. Could have gone very badly. We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity. We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment is less important, but we could have lost a lot. And we're going to make sure that this is proper. We're there now. We're ready to go again if we have to.
In other words, Maduro mocked Trump's dancing, so not only did the U.S. supplant the country's leader, but now American kids might have to go to war and die in South America to compensate for Trump's bruised ego? I mean, talk about a king complex. This guy's feelings get hurt, and so now God knows how many people have to die to make dear leader feel okay again.
That's his
Now,
feelings
as I
hurt.
mentioned before, it wasn't just the fact that dear leader got made fun of. There's also the justification that Trump himself has been plenty open about.
As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. The oil companies are ready to go. They're going to go in, they're going to rebuild the infrastructure. The oil is just flowing at a very low level, much lower than, even if it was badly run, it should have more income, more oil than what they're doing. So we're going to have the big oil companies go in. They're going to fix the infrastructure.
One of them is going to be Trump all.
In fact, he is so smitten by the prospect of rewarding his oil executive donors with more oil that he isn't even interested in freeing American prisoners in Venezuela.
Go ahead.
Now, are you going to demand that Delcy Rodriguez let opposition figures return or free any political prisoners?
We haven't gotten to that yet. Right now, what we want to do is fix up the oil, fix up the country.
Oh, Beverly, this
back,
is
and then have
what I
elections.
voted for.
Okay. We better bring the country back, otherwise you're
Hey, Beverly.
just going to have a mess of it. It was really bad. It's going to get a lot worse unless we go in and fix it.
That's right. Can't worry about those pesky American prisoners when there are desperate, needy oil executives who must be
Oh,
attended
it's trying
to
to get
first.
me to talk to you real quick. So, Beverly McCaffrey, hello. So, did you vote for a PDFer? Did you vote for him to screw your... Oh, who got you? Oh, I was finna get her. Who got her? Janet got you. Beverly, you voted for who molest you? I mean, who play with your kids' private areas? You like that? Was you raised like that, Beverly? I'm just asking. I'm asking for a survivor. You voted for a PDFer who steals kids' innocence, grape them and sacrifice them. Is that what you want? Is that what you, because I do know that there are some families that's their ritual. Is that who you are? Beverly? You be okay if he came and put his hands down your daughter's private area and take their innocence and then tell them, oh, well, yeah, it could have been some knucklehead. At least it was me. You like that? You think that's okay? Yeah. He better pay up in New York. They said, baby, they taking it. I want them to take that gaudy ass gold shit and sell it. Sell it on the streets of New York. Yeah, so the hustle man can hustle them down on their prices, and it still leaves us a lot of money that has to be paid. Yeah. Sell it. Sell it like on Waiting to Exhale. Everything goes for $1. Ha! Hello? Huh? Yeah. Yeah. So then he could say, well, you sold it, but you didn't get any money. Yeah, that's what you did. You stole it, and then you never paid nobody their money back. So everything goes for $1. And you still gonna have to pay tons of millions. Absolutely. Ain't it what they said, 500 million? Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, nobody wants that old shit. Sell it on the streets. Yeah, let the tax people create their own type of tariff off of your property. Yeah. Since you tried to steal from us, cushion it for you and yours. Yeah, cushion it for me and mine, the people. Absolutely. That's the only way you're gonna learn your lesson. Yes, everything goes for $1. $1 man. That's what you are. Yeah, $1. $1. Yeah. $1.
God, Trump has his priorities straight. And of course, we've all heard the spate of other lame excuses. Trump pretending that this is about stopping narco trafficking, which might carry just a little bit more weight if he didn't just.
We've been hearing this all.
Honduras, who trafficked 400 tons of drugs.
He ain't said nothing by going into the crack houses or wherever they manufacture.
So we're gonna.
Oh, I'm on that thing. Lord, I don't know why I keep doing that. Wonder why it be moving itself. Yeah, he ain't said nothing about going to the crack house or the drug house or the underground tunnels where they manufacture. Where they cooking at? You ain't went to the cook-off? Where all these drugs? Huh? Where they at? You ain't said nothing about destroying them buildings, because all you been talking about since y'all went and kidnapped that man is all. But I thought it was about drugs. Have y'all went to any warehouse, any house? Where the crack house at? Huh? You don't care about that? Yeah, they told you the numbers on that oil and everything else. You was like, okay, so was you bombing him for the oil? I thought it was that's why you didn't care who was on it. Yeah, you just wanted to let them. So that's how you said they knew you was coming, because you was a bombing and unaliving unnecessarily. You had no reason, because you didn't care nothing about the possibility of Finn being on them boats. You knew good and damn well it wasn't on that boat, because your mission was the all. I need for you to start talking about what you found. Now, don't go plant nothing. Don't go plant nothing. But you ain't said nothing about going in to where the what is it, cave, or where they at? Where are they getting it from? John Jr. asked his dad to leave the. Did he? Yeah, quit lying, man. Yeah, you ain't about that life. You just like to steal. You just like to
The big oil
steal.
companies going. Are they going to fix the infrastructure? Are they going to invest money?
In fact,
But what about
he
the
is so smitten
drugs?
by the prospect of rewarding his oil executive donors with more oil that he isn't even interested in freeing American prisoners in Venezuela.
Go ahead.
Where's the
Now,
Epstein
are you
file?
going to demand that Delcy Rodriguez let opposition figures
Who have
return
you
or free any political
invaded
prisoners?
We
about
haven't
the
gotten to
Epstein
that yet.
files
Right now, what we want to do
in
is
this
fix up
country?
the oil, fix up the country, bring the country back, and then have elections.
Now, is it fair?
We better bring the country back, otherwise you're going to have a mess that's so bad. It was really bad. It's going to get a lot worse unless we go in and fix it.
That's right. Can't worry about those pesky American prisoners when there are desperate, needy oil executives who must be attended to first. Thank God Trump has his priorities straight. And of course, we've all heard the spate of other lame excuses. Trump pretending that this is about stopping narco trafficking, which might carry just a little bit more weight if he didn't just pardon the former president of Honduras, who trafficked 400 tons of drugs into the United States. Trump pretending
Just
that this is
trifling.
about helping the people of Venezuela from a human rights perspective, which, again, might carry just a little more weight if he didn't leave in place the rest of the repressive Maduro regime. This whole thing is, per usual, about Trump. He is massaging his own bruised ego and delivering for the people who donated to his presidential campaign. It is not about anyone else but himself. If he doesn't derive some benefit, he ain't doing it. That's why he doesn't care about health care. It's because he doesn't use Medicaid or the ACA. It's why he doesn't care about food stamps, because he's not on them. It's why he doesn't care about IVF. It's because it doesn't impact him. It's why he doesn't care about lowering the cost of everyday goods, because he's a billionaire who's not impacted by those costs. Unless he is personally effective, he will not lift a finger. And what's left is a graveyard of broken promises. Trump vowed to lower costs, to ease inflation,
All about the
to
Benjamins.
protect earned benefits, to release the Epstein
Show
files,
me
to
the
end the
money.
Russia-Ukraine war, to make IVF free. None of those things will happen.
Show me
At
the
least
money.
not without a fight. If he doesn't stand to benefit, he won't do it. And maybe now that we're almost a decade into watching this megalomaniacal narcissist pad his own bottom line and his family's bottom line, will people begin to recognize that it's been a con all along, and that Donald Trump's sole priority is, per usual, Donald Trump.
Y'all, I keep having to ask y'all about the like button. And I'm an hour and 52 minutes in, and I'm still asking y'all about the like button. What we doing? So are y'all just refusing to hit the like button or hitting the double tapping the face on your screen on your phone? So y'all just not gonna do it? So y'all just
We have a
gonna
pretty stunning confession.
disrespect a confession? Yeah, we already know that. Double tap, no charge. Double tap the face of your screen. Absolutely, or hit those three dots at the top right corner. Or I'm gonna shut it down and come back later. That's just what I'm on. I was up too late last night. A city used the military to take over Greenland. 55. Yeah, I'm waiting for y'all to try to get them up, son. Yeah. I'm finna go. Military force.
We are not.
Trump just went absolutely ballistic. 47 members of your own party It signals something deeper. Sure. Not empty political theater, not a routine partisan stunt. This is a full-scale bipartisan revolt triggered by a leaked memo so explosive that even Trump's most loyal defenders could no longer stay silent. When Republican committee chairmen openly break ranks and publicly call on their own president to step down, you know something catastrophic has just detonated inside Washington. This moment did not come out of nowhere. It hit like...
Oh, hold on.
MAGA Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, and the other MAGA Republicans returned to Capitol Hill, and they instantly had a meltdown trying to justify Donald Trump's unlawful invasion of Venezuela, which is deeply unpopular among the American people. Just look at MAGA Mike Johnson there. Look at what a little, weak, and pathetic human being he looks like there during this press conference that he held last night. And MAGA Mike Johnson, who should be zealously guarding Article 1 of the Constitution and the fact that Congress needs to authorize war and that this was an unlawful invasion by Donald Trump. MAGA Mike goes, we didn't need to authorize this. As long as we got notice at some point in time afterwards, that's all that matters to Congress. MAGA Mike, this is why you need to go, and this is why you're a pathetic little weasel, MAGA Mike. Watch what he says here. Play this clip.
Acknowledge here is that this is an operation that did not require prior consent of Congress, prior authorization of Congress. It required notification of Congress. It's well within Article 2. I know as many details as I can know before going to the SCIF for the classified briefing, but I spoke with the President of the United States, the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense within hours of the operation commencing.
And then MAGA Mike says, this wasn't regime change at all. We're actually going to be sticking with the Maduro regime. So it's not regime change. We just kidnapped Maduro, and now Delcy Rodriguez is the president. She was Maduro's right hand. And at her swearing in on Monday, she was seen hugging the leaders of Russia and Iran and China. But she's our girl now. She's our lady, everybody. Here's what MAGA Mike has to say about Delcy Rodriguez, who's Donald Trump's pick, not the opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado. No, Donald Trump wants the one in Maduro's regime. Here, play this clip.
This is not a regime change. This is a demand for change of behavior by a regime. The interim government is stood up now, and we are hopeful that they will be able to correct their action. They cannot participate with narco-terrorists and very dangerous international criminal organizations that harm and target Americans, frankly, and traffic all of these dangerous drugs into our country. They do all this great harm to our country.
Release
they
the
cannot
Epstein
continue that
files.
activity. We have a way of persuasion because their oil exports, as you know, have been ceased, and I think that will bring the country to a new governance in very short order.
Then you have MAGA Republican Jim Jordan going on CNN, and he's asked, so do you support American boots on the ground? He's like, well, we're not ruling it out, just maybe not yet. Let's just trust whatever Donald Trump says. Just trust him. We'll see where this goes. Here, play this clip.
Do you support putting American boots on the ground in Venezuela for a long period of time?
Well, again, that's a question for later. I think most Americans are again, trust the president to do what's in the best interest of the American people and the best interest, frankly, of the folks in Venezuela. I mean, you see the cheering in the streets.
Isn't this a
for what
question you have
happened
to think about before you do something like this?
And I'm sure they have. They want this transition to work out in a way that benefits America. President Trump, every decision he makes, it's one thing I know about this guy is I think he makes those decisions in the best interest of the American people, the best interest of our country.
Okay, hold on.
And
Before I have to go, hold on. I want to see this. I want to hear this. Hold on. Yeah, because I got to come back for our girl. Hold on. But this is the first time these two have been
positive
together.
implications for the rest of the world. That's basically what Jim Jordan said about anything, about everything. He's like, I don't.
What's what I was doing? Okay, yeah, this is it. Hold on.
What is going to bring MAGA to its knees? What's going to make it cannibalize itself and implode? do the Democrats have the secret with putting on Jan 6th oversight hearings to expose
January
and
6th.
remind everybody about the attempt to rewrite history? Will the Epstein scandal be Donald Trump and MAGA's undoing, as we see elected officials on the Republican MAGA side running, screaming away from Donald Trump and his handling of the Epstein affair? Will it be Donald Trump's violation of American First doctrine in his attacks on the Western Hemisphere, including Venezuela? This lack of transparency may ultimately be Donald Trump's undoing. It may put his feet in wet cement that will harden between now and the midterms. I kick this around, I bat it around with the leading commentator at the Gen Z world, Adam Mockler, and here's our, I wouldn't call it a debate. Here's our conversation about this and many other issues. Let's play it. Let's welcome everybody. We got about 500, quick 500, as we like to say. We got Adam Mockler of Adam Mockler. We got Michael Popak of Legal AF. I'm doing my 7:45 early because Adam and I committed to doing this a week ago. I think, Adam, you took ill around the holidays, so we decided to push it here.
Yeah, sorry I pushed it back a week. You know, there's something going around. My whole family got sick around the holidays, and be careful out there because there's something going around.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, and Adam and I made a commitment to each other end of last year to do this more regularly. If you're new to either of us, check to see if you're subscribed. That's what helps. That's what protects independent media. That's where we live here on Substack. Check them too. Check the Chiron. You'll see if you're subscried to Adam or vice versa with me. Adam. And then let's move forward. So here's why I totally agree with you. I don't just be a sycophant. I totally agree with you, Adam. But you're exactly right. Now I'm in Miami, so I've got a unique perch with the Venezuelan community, literally outside my door, and I know many of them well. And there was this weird split screen. There was celebrations in the United States for the expatriate community who thought on Saturday night that their country had been liberated. Horns honking, flags, music, yay, Viva Trump, the whole 9 yards. Okay. Then we wake up on Sunday and realize, and with the press conference, as you said, it's not a liberation. It's what I said. It's a kidnapping. It's a decapitation of the regime of Maduro, leaving in place the entirety of the Maduro regime, top to bottom, so that while the Venezuelans in America were whooping it up, the Venezuelans in Venezuela slept with one eye open and are still sleeping with one eye open because Trump is not in charge, God help us. Hegseth and Marco Rubio are not in charge. This regime is still in charge. And so, as you said, they just kicked the regime in the nuts and then wanted to be compliant and docile so that they'll take the deal that big oil wants them to take. And the reason, continue that line of thought, I want to get your feelings on this. One of the main theories as to why Donald Trump is forcibly sidelining the government in exile, led by his Nobel Prize winning nemesis in Maria Corina Machado, is not only because she beat him to the Peace Prize, but also because they don't think that government would be as compliant with the big oil's goals as a criminal regime that's now been kicked in the nuts. And that's what we're watching.
But yeah, he's looking for a mix of bribery and intimidation, and that's easier for him if he keeps the current regime in power, the current VP in power. So I've been in my videos, I haven't been using regime change. I've been using the words regime coercion because they're coercing everybody. But just to take a step back, like, I'm a very young guy, so my history I've had to brush up a lot on. But one thing that I've seen repeatedly, I'm not even saying that sarcastically. I've had to do a lot of research about a lot of Latin American regime changes.
Why you're so good? You learn.
I appreciate that. And what I've seen is that the actual regime change, like taking out the leader, isn't the hard part. It's building a sustained nation after. And every single time the United States has tried to engage in sustained nation building in a foreign nation, it does not work whatsoever. So I've gone through all these examples. I've been preparing for debates and getting ready. You can go through Cuba. You can even go through Venezuela. All the examples of the United States forcibly changing regimes doesn't work. So it feels like some of the MAGA supporters are kind of what's the phrase? Counting their eggs before they've hatched? Is that a phrase?
Count your chickens before they hatch.
Yeah, that's what it is.
No, you have the eggs. You need the chickens.
Okay. that makes a lot more sense, I guess. But they're counting the chickens before they've hatched in the sense that it feels like they're doing victory laps, but we're on 48 hours into this. There's no sustained long-term democracy building change in regime. It's the same regime.
There's not going to be.
No pro-democracy elements to it, right?
Well, the reason why you and I and others on the Midas Touch Network watched the press conference going, okay, 22 references to oil. I got that.
Join delicious rewards and turn points into free Culver's favorites.
Folks, I've seen a thing or two. But these prescription prices? Rising. Higher than a rooster on stilts. Ain't that right, Dusty Pete?
That's a fact. Reckon it's time we wrote.
We're in control, but without any legitimate plan to move this country to democracy. See, when we took over something, you know, there's something I'm sure you ran into called the Colin Powell Doctrine, the Powell Doctrine, which is simple. If you break it, you bought it. So if we break Venezuela, we bought it. Just like we did with Iraq. Now, with Iraq, we put in a provisional council headed by American diplomats and generals, but also with tribal leaders, and we tried to transition them. It's not always successful because it's hard to teach people democracy when they've never had one, but we tried to do it that way and kept the military around to keep everybody honest. But here, we were wondering, why is there no planning? Why is he keep talking about in the press conference, Trump, a second wave? How is this regime change? And why is he declared that he has not spoken to the government in exile and has no plans to? Why did Marco Rubio have to clean up the next day and say, well, control, I would say we're controlling policy. I wouldn't say we're controlling the government. And then they said, well, why aren't you supporting the government in exile any longer? Because you're celebrating when they won and saw them as the legitimate government at the beginning of the administration. What changed? Oh, the operation changed. Our goals changed. Right. We need the oil. We need big oil to have the oil, and we don't want anybody in the way of it. And it's easier to take corrupt people and have them move towards your position than it is freedom-loving people and try to convince them to let big oil in and rape your country.
Yep, and the Powell Doctrine is something that I did stumble upon. Also, it seems like they're completely misrepresenting the Monroe Doctrine as well, which says that, Europe shouldn't be playing in our hemisphere, in our backyard, but now it's being inverted to say that the United States can play anywhere we want in our hemisphere. That's basically they're trying to call it the Don Roe Doctrine or something like that. It is actually a scary evolution to just open imperialism from people who 1 month ago were saying we should put America first. But the new argument, because I've been getting ready for all these debates, the new argument that they say is that as long as it's in our hemisphere, as long as it's in our area, it technically protects American interests. And I just find that to be BS as well. They're endlessly justifying failed regime change. Historically, it failed over and over and over. Justifying imperialism. They were going on Fox News, basically just saying that if there are resources in our hemisphere that we need to grab, we should be able to grab them. It is actually pretty scary the way they talk about NATO allies like Greenland, the way that Katie Miller is posting about it. Not good.
Well, and when you're getting ready for your debates, focus on Marco Rubio and his ultimate desire, which is to destabilize Cuba in order for his ancestral home to get a regime change. I mean, he is from that Cuban population, which I know well in Miami, the one that says they're in exile ever since Fidel Castro. And he's been saying, and there is, look, I'm not denying the links. There is a strong link between these puppet states of Russia in Venezuela and Cuba, trading with each other, Venezuelan oil coming into Cuba. That's how Maduro was guarded by Cuban mercenaries that he bought and paid for from Cuba with oil money. And so there's a reason 40 Cubans died to the Delta forces along with 70 other people. It's because he didn't trust his own people to guard them. He had the Cubans come in. So yes, if you destabilize Venezuela with its oil fields, which if properly developed would be the #1 oil producing country in the world, representing 20% of the world's oil, more than Saudi Arabia, just down south from us. Okay, if you have that sort of money up and running, then and you take it away from Cuba, which has no other trading partners effectively, then Marco Rubio gets what he's always wanted. So this is just a play ultimately by big oil, who bought a president during the presidential election for $500 million at Donald Trump's urging, and now they're getting a return on their investment. You know, there's one oil company for America that's currently down there in Chevron. Citgo used to be there, but it got nationalized, and they're all chomping at the bit to help Venezuela, you know, infrastructure and technology. You know, and will the people of Venezuela one day be benefited by money flowing in their country? I guess. But whatever happened to us being the leader of the free world and manufacturing democracies around the world? And just lastly, on your point, when you get ready for your debates, there's two aspects that you're right about the Monroe or moron doctrine in the hands of Donald Trump. It's also ceding to Russia and China and giving them a permission slip to go over for Russia to take over Eastern Europe and Western Europe, and China to take over anything Asian that it wants. Because it's like, just stay out of the Western hemisphere. Because how do we sit across from the table, Adam, with them and say, get out of Ukraine, when they say, get out of Venezuela? And we're tied, and Russia's tied to Venezuela.
Yeah, we lose all moral high ground. I guess I have a question. So has it been hard? Has it been a tightrope messaging someone who has a close proximity to like communities that are refugees? Because obviously the refugees' immediate stance will be, hell yes, Maduro's gone. It's great. Something that I found in these conversations that I'm having, though, is that, like, just to be frank, nobody really, except for people that I talk to on our side, the average American that I talk to, the average refugee, the average person who's apolitical, doesn't care about the legality of the situation, which I know is hard to, like, almost comprehend as someone who, you're a lawyer. I work and I talk about the legality of this stuff or the illegality all the time. You talk about it 10 times more, but I keep having these conversations where people don't seem to care as much about the legality, and they seem to focus more on the emotion of, you know, Maduro's gone, which is good. How have you messaged around this, and how have you found, as like a lawyer, like how?
As I said, there is this split screen problem.
Yeah.
People in country are in fear and have been shit on by Marco Rubio and others, and Trump, who can't shut his mouth, because they woke up first elated, Maduro's gone, to why is all of his lieutenants still in charge, and why is, you know, his real number two, the interior minister, why is he on television, state-run TV, wearing a bulletproof vest surrounded by security forces, while, you know, Doral and Kendall in Miami and Weston which is big Venezuelan populations here, all ecstatic.
Yeah.
I think I've got to take the one that Eileen Higgins, the new mayor of Miami, the way she's walking the tightrope, which is, she said, this just proves, under the broken country theory, that Venezuela is so broken right now and leaderless and dangerous that we have to give and restart the temporary protective TPS. What's the S?
Status.
Status. The TPS status for Venezuelans has to be reinstated, Kristi Noem. Bring it back, because you just broke Venezuela in order to get Maduro out to have a more compliant, as you said, regime. But what about the people here? So it's a really weird, I'm all in favor of getting rid of, you know, strongmen, dictators from countries that are suppressing their people. And yes, millions of Venezuelans over the last 30 years, starting with Hugo Chavez, all the way through Maduro, have left that country if they could, with the shirts on their back, to get away from there, leaving, you know, about half the country left. But at what cost for the remaining? We didn't get them all out. So don't we have a moral obligation to make sure that there is the people's will, which was reflected by Maria Machado's win and Eduardo Gonzalez's win? Don't we have a moral obligation to set up elections for the next 90 days
with
and have
this
them run the country?
regime?
We're going to be in
with
control.
This president,
so we're just going to be in control for as long as our oil interests demand it.
And therein lies the power. Like I was saying earlier,
there.
The goal of any regime change, if the West is going to do it, should be to have a more democratic leader or somebody who is able to have a sustainable government coalition. Donald Trump has not created those environments whatsoever. We're apparently running it while also allowing Delcy Rodriguez to run the nation. And then we already have the Washington Post reporting that oil executives are ready to take a trip this March to go and already scope out the riches that they can grab. It's very much so just a repeat of history, and I think that even though the military operation was successful the night of, I don't see this lasting. I don't see this lasting in peace or anything.
Well, when you say the military operation, I mean, I'm all about not losing any service people that are forced into war situations following a commander-in-chief who's bragging about passing 3 dementia tests in the last 11 months, okay? A mentally in decline person. But let's just put this in perspective. We were not up against, because they really don't have one, an Air Force, a Navy. We were up against, 40 Cubans guarding Maduro. We had all the intelligence that we needed to get in there with helicopters and Delta Force. Apparently, they roughed up Mrs. Maduro. I'm not crying for her. I'm just saying she came in with a broken rib into her arraignment today. So it wasn't that smooth. So let's just keep, Donald Trump, who I joked in my hot takes, had about as much enthusiasm in his press conference as he leaned against that podium, as it was the exact same tonality and energy level of somebody coming off of a late night going through a McDonald's drive-thru.
Yeah.
I'll have a Big Mac. We just had the greatest.
That's probably what he was saying right before, too.
Military
ordering a Big Mac.
Success in history. It was a rival what? It rivals with Normandy? It rivals World War II? Like, what does it rival? We took out 30 Cubans. All right. I got it. And there's a lot of things that will happen now. The lawyers that have stepped forward to represent Maduro, very interesting combination. You've got the lawyer who represents Julian Assange, and you got the lawyer who represented President Hernandez of Honduras, who Donald Trump pardoned. So these two have gotten the gang back together again, and are representing them. I happen to know one of the lawyers for them. They works at a very good firm in New York, and they'll get a lot of mileage out of something that I don't think Noriega was able to really effectively use, which is the head of state immunity. Because the more that Donald Trump and Marco Rubio talk about America's interest, American interest. The reason for this was America's interest, to align Venezuela's interest with America's interest, to align oil with oil.
Can't get my lights up. I got one more, and then I'll be back later with our girl. Yeah. Cut a plea deal. Oh, wow. I saw something about a deal, but hold on. Yeah, I can't get y'all to hit the like button, so let me play this. Where's the one we talked about?
All right, welcome to the show, y'all. Hope everybody out there is having an awesome day, despite the fact that we live in hell and it gets worse seemingly every single second. But I have a lot of stuff to talk to you guys about today. So in a little bit, we're going to discuss how so-called liberal media betrayed you and lied to you for Trump. So I'll break that down for you. We also have the hidden reason why Israel loves the Venezuela regime change. I'll break that down. We have an open question about, did Trump sell out Ukraine in a secret deal for Venezuela with Russia? There's some reason to believe that might be true, so we'll get into that as well. And then later on, Mark Maron fires back yet again at Joe Rogan and the Rogan Sphere fail comics. We also have Joe Rogan goes full monkey brain idiot defending Trump's warmongering. You have to see this clip to believe it, and I have the fucking nuclear bomb of all fact checks for you on that one. And then also later on, Nick Fuentes' own fans have now officially turned on him over the issue of Venezuela. And frankly, you love to see it, because I remember covering it when he first came out in favor of the Venezuela war. I remember covering it and saying, this guy's a total fucking fraud. I mean, he postures as if he's anti-war, and then as soon as there's a war in our hemisphere, he's like, yummy in my tummy. I love that. So we'll talk about that too. So you guys know the drill, man. Everybody please do me a big favor and subscribe to the channel. You can also click that bell icon. That makes it so that every video we drop
y'all hit
goes
the like
directly
button.
to you. It
I'm
bypasses
gonna get ready
the
to
YouTube
shut it
algorithm, which
down.
famously does
2
not like
hours and 19
political
minutes
channels very
in, and
much.
I'll be back
You can
later.
also support the show on Patreon and support Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. Remember, I say this every show, but I say it for a reason. This is real independent media. That means I've never done an ad read. I've never talked to an advertiser, never talked to a billionaire, never talked to a government or a PAC or anything like that. You guys support this show from the ground. Over a decade ago, you had Trump and all of his... You guys all know this. You guys all know this. We've all seen it online. And this was a big thing going all the way back to like 2015. Over a decade ago, you had Trump and all of his minions. They would pretend like they are anti-war, right? They would pretend, Trump would pretend like I was against the Iraq war. It was a big fat mistake, that one. And it sort of became one of the slogans or the mantras of MAGA Republicans is they would say, we're against regime change. And they would castigate Hillary Clinton, for example, and say she's a warmonger and she supported the Iraq war. And this became part of, along with like free speech, this became part of what it meant to be MAGA. You know, they would say like build the wall and free speech and we're going to end the wars, right? Like the gist of what they stood for. Now, look, I followed this stuff from the very beginning. I can tell you, I knew all along it was total bullshit, okay? There were also clips from before the Iraq war of Trump supporting the Iraq war, right? Never mind the fact, now we know in his first term in office, he was a colossal warmonger. He murdered Qasem Soleimani, willy-nilly, even though it was completely illegal. He ripped up the Iran agreement. He broke the drone record, far surpassing Barack Obama's number of drone strikes. So it was always shit. But, you know, the right gobbled that up, okay? Well, Trump, half the time on the campaign trail, he can't help himself. He always went back to the, I'm against regime change, it's stupid, I'm against these wars, I never start, no new wars. No. Now, by the way, that's also a lie, but it became, the slogan became more truthful to these people than the actual truth. And so here's Trump, and he's going to effectively eviscerate his own Venezuela policy. This is Donald Trump versus Donald Trump, or I guess you could say Donald Trump owning Donald Trump. Here we go.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper,
It sounds like this is one of those
transition.
So that's him talking about nation building Venezuela. We're going to run the country. All right, here we go.
Our current strategy of nation building and regime change.
That's a different one.
Absolute.
That's a different Donald Trump. They say it's about 7 of them.
The failed policy of nation building.
He don't even sound alike.
Change that Hillary Clinton pushed in Iraq, in Libya, in Egypt, and in Syria. Regime change takes chaos. You've seen how that works over the last 20 years. That hasn't been too good. Not a reckless interventionist globalism.
Oh, wow.
We're getting out of the nation building business. We're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. We're going to...
So now their dodge is, well, wait a second, but Venezuela's in our hemisphere. As if that's supposed to be convincing to anybody. Like, no, you didn't say, I'm against regime change, I'm against nation building. Unless, of course, you mean in our hemisphere. In that case, I'm totally okay with it. You didn't say that. Of course you didn't say that. Their big line is now, but Venezuela is in our backyard. No, bitch, that's not your backyard. That's your neighbor's house, right? You can't go into your neighbor's house with a gun and threaten to kill them and kick them out of their own house and fucking confiscate their dog and say, hey, now I own 4 houses on this block because I forced the other people out. That's not the way it works. That's not your backyard. That's not your street. That's your neighbor's house, okay? But this is the way they think. It literally is rolling the clock back to the 1800s, to sphere of influence politics, or what you call geopolitical realism. This idea that if you're a major power, you own a certain area in the world. You own the area all around you. And so that's why, under this logic, they don't give a fuck about Russia stealing Ukraine, because that's in their sphere of influence. So this has, in other words, they're now saying sovereignty means nothing. Independence means nothing. Human rights means
Mean
nothing.
nothing.
International law
Don't
means
mean
nothing.
nothing.
And again, this is exactly the opposite of the shit he said all the time. I'm against regime change. I'm against
Oh, he
nation building.
lies.
Now what's he doing? Quick, send $40 billion to Argentina as Americans' healthcare premiums triple. Quick, let's run Gaza. Let's run Venezuela. So stop and think about that. As inflation goes up, as unemployment goes up, as people struggle in this country, they can't afford their healthcare premiums. 18 million people lose their Medicaid. 94 million pounds of food aid is now not going to food banks and people are starving. His reaction is, let's run Venezuela, even though I said nation building is stupid and bad and wrong and regime change is stupid and bad and wrong. It truly is incredible. All right, more. Here he is being even more clear about just how stupid this is. Here we go.
The world would be better off with Saddam Hussein
100%.
and Gaddafi in power.
100%. Now, as far as Assad is concerned,
What about the human rights abuses?
Let's talk. Well, you don't think they're happening now? They're worse now than they ever were. People are getting their heads chopped off. They're being drowned. Right now, they're far worse than they were ever under Saddam Hussein or Gaddafi. And it all blew up around Hillary Clinton and around
Stop
Barack Obama.
lying.
It all blew up. Now, one thing about Assad, not a good guy. I understand that. We have to rebuild our country. Our country's falling to pieces. We have 19 trillion in debt. We have infrastructure that's a disaster. Our roadways, our airports, our schools, everything. We have to start thinking about ourselves. We're pouring trillions of dollars into the Middle East, and we have nothing for it. We have nothing.
I couldn't have made the argument any better myself. Look, you could say Assad's a bad guy, but that doesn't mean he should be overthrown, right? Why is that our business? We gotta rebuild our country. Our airports are shit. Our infrastructure's crumbling. Everything's falling apart. We got 19 trillion in debt. By the way, what's the number now? 30-something trillion in debt. And he's like, let's run Venezuela. Let's run Gaza. Let's build hotels and casinos and golden statues.
Hotels and casinos.
To your favorite president. They're trying to build, I'm not kidding about this, Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff floated the idea of building a futuristic AI tech city on top of the rubble in Gaza, on top of the skeletons of the dead babies that they just genocided. And guess what? Those buildings are not for Palestinians. They're not saying, welcome home, Palestinians. Here's your futuristic high-tech society. No.
Nope.
They want it to be a tourist hub. And by the way, they want to run it with complete biometric screening. They want nobody to have any rights. They want fucking humans to become transhumanist cyborgs, right? Merge with AI, merge with computers. But this is what they're doing.
Reptilian type.
They want to be the,
Well, now
the
those
new
are
tech
devils.
hub in Gaza, where the genocide and the ethnic cleansing is still going on right now. So this is what they're up to. Mr. I'm against the wars. I'm against the regime change.
Just
Why would you do
lie.
that? It's so stupid. Now he is leading the wars, leading the regime change, leading the nation building, and he's doing it all on behalf of the Epstein class, the billionaire class. They gave him a tremendous amount of money for his campaign. He's now paying them back. Whatever you want, I will deliver. I'm going to let you loot. I'm going to let you pillage. I'm going to let you rob Venezuela. I'm going to let you take the oil. You can take the minerals. You can take all the natural resources. You can take the precious metals. By all means, go right ahead. And the other thing is, with all the natural resources in Venezuela, you know what else they're going to use this for? Data centers. They're going to build data centers. That's Elon Musk and fucking Sam Altman and all these tech assholes. They want to build these data centers, which, by the way, AI has already taken 34% of entry-level jobs already, just from ChatGPT being created. Where do you think it goes from here? They're openly talking about the goal is to replace everybody's jobs. Okay, but if you're destroying the social safety net so they can't get help there, and they can't support themselves by having a job, what do you want them to do? We're just a nuisance to the Epstein class. We're just a nuisance to them. There's a shadow government of billionaire pedophiles that are running everything.
Call it what it is.
They want to get rid of us. And look at how little they care about other human beings with what...
So are they going to use those fake AIs to get their rocks off? Or are they going to do that themselves? They don't need the AI for that. Or they want a grape.
Of billionaire pedophiles that are running everything. And they
make no mistake about it.
And they can't support themselves by having a job. What do you want them to do? We're just a nuisance to the Epstein class. We're just a nuisance to them. There's a shadow government of billionaire pedophiles that are running everything, and they want to get rid of us. They want to get rid of us. And look at how little they care about other human beings with what they did in Venezuela. They fucking murdered 80 people. For what? They don't fucking know. They don't know, so they could arrest Maduro and have a big fucking show trial over it. Meanwhile, the case is pathetic. I mean, unless it is a show trial, he's gonna get off. So
True.
they don't even know what they're doing here. They don't even know.
That's true.
But Donald
But
Trump
please
used
let
to
it be
clear on
Letitia
this
James.
with the rhetoric on the campaign trail. But as I told you, and I was fucking yelled at the time for pointing it out, he's always been a fucking warmonger. This is a guy, he's been bombing fishing boats from
Thank you,
Venezuela
Queen
and
Lakers, for the
Trinidad and
floating
Tobago and
hearts.
Colombia, and not caring about the fact
A
that
heart.
innocent people are
Thank
getting blown
you.
up. They just did the regime change in Venezuela. He also bombed Yemen and Somalia and Nigeria and Iran. He's now threatening Greenland and Panama and Canada and Cuba and Mexico.
He's trying to get us
He
killed.
said a couple months ago he wants to reinvade Afghanistan to take Bagram Air Base back. And that's all just this term. That's all just this term. The fake peace deal with Israel and Gaza, where the whole point of the deal was to make the world look away so Israel could go back to doing the genocide. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. He said he stopped 8 wars. He started 8 wars. He bombed at least 8 different countries.
It's always opposite of what he
And
say.
then the first term, increasing drone strikes over 400%, keeping us in Iraq and Afghanistan, bombing Syria twice, bombing Somalia, occupying Syria to take the oil from there, increasing the Pentagon budget. Now he wants it at $1 trillion a year when they can't even account for 63% of their money.
And they trafficking.
It's a total fucking slush fund for billionaire criminals and corporate criminals.
Absolutely.
It's war profiteering.
On military basis.
Raytheon and Boeing, they steal that money. 63% of the money's missing. They failed 8
Absolutely.
audits in a row, and Trump is giving them more money. And then, by the way, the cherry on top of all
And
of
the
this
lady
is
last
this.
night asked me,
Remember
what
this?
does
How many
Israel have
times
to
did
do with
Trump
this?
post
Are
one
you
version or
crazy?
another of this? Now that Obama's poll numbers are in a tailspin, he said in 2012, watch for him to launch a strike in Libya or Iran. That is fucking insane. That's fucking
Oh, he
insane.
sounds
And by
like
the way,
him.
this was like just before, about a month before the election with Mitt Romney,
Iran.
where Obama destroyed Mitt Romney. So it wasn't even true that his numbers were in a tailspin at the
With
time.
his lips
He had
around a
pretty
bubbles.
commanding lead
Pickle.
the entire
Picklegate.
election with Romney. He was
It's
always up a little
Picklegate.
bit against Romney, and he was running a very good campaign. But this shows you how Donald Trump thinks. Donald Trump looks around and goes, oh shit, my approval rating's at 35%. Trump looks around and goes, oh shit, the Epstein files are really ripping me a new asshole.
Oh.
I get exposed every week of being a
Absolutely.
fucking gigantic fredophile rapist. Right?
Oh,
We
how
were
did he
just
say
showing the
that?
Katie Johnson testimony on this show the other day.
Yep.
So you got all these
And
new
people steady
stories about
saying
how he's a
there's
creep
no
and how
case
he-
against
that is
him. You
fucking
crazy as
insane.
hell.
That's fucking insane. And by the way, this was like just before, about a month before the election. True that his numbers were in a tailspin at the time. He had a pretty commanding lead the entire election with Romney. He was always up a little bit against Romney, and he was running.
How do they owe Lily? How do they owe us billions?
How Donald Trump
Please don't
thinks.
repeat
Donald
something
Trump
that you
looks
don't
around
have
and
facts.
goes,
You're just
oh, shit, my
repeating
approval rating's
something.
at 35%. Trump looks around and goes, oh shit, the Epstein files are really ripping me a new asshole.
Please don't
I get
come over
exposed
here
every
putting
week
lies in my
of being a
comments.
fucking gigantic
No.
pedophile rapist. Right?
But
We were just
now,
showing
now
them
what about
Katie
that?
Johnson
What
testimony on
about
this show.
that, Lily? What about him being a PDFer rapist? Talk about that. Let's go. We
Goes,
waiting.
oh shit, the Epstein files are really ripping me a new asshole. I get exposed every week.
But Lily want to talk about
gigantic
Venezuela
pedophile
owing us
rapist.
billions.
Right?
No,
were just showing
we
them
talking. Let's
Katie
talk
Trump
about
looks around and goes,
him
oh shit, my
in his illegal invasion that he's probably gonna get off on, cause Trump know good and damn well he wasn't supposed to do it, and hell, he's a criminal too. Let's talk about it, Lily. He not a criminal. He got 34 convictions. He been stealing from the U.S. for years with his tax evasion and inflated properties. What about that, Lily, Pilly, Billy? Billie Jean is not my lover. I'd rather have Trump all to myself. Yeah, what about him? Girl, let me go.
approval ratings at 35%. Trump looks around and goes, oh shit, the Epstein files are really ripping me a new asshole. I get exposed every week of being a fucking gigantic pedophile rapist, right? We were just showing the Katie Johnson testimony on this show the other day. So you got all these new stories about how he's a creep and how he's a pervert and how he's a criminal, right? All the details coming out. That's only 1% of the
his son is his grandson. Oh my God! What about that? That his son may be his grandson. Son. Release the Epstein files. His son may also be his grandson. Talk about Big Daddy. But you want to talk about Venezuela. But Trump pardoned Honduras big drug lord. I mean, y'all just, even your comments sound cray-cray. I mean, the Kool-Aid is not your friend. Especially not the red. What's that number? That it makes your brain, it puts all of them parasites on your brain. Research it. Yeah, since you're not researching Trump. Let's go.
So what does he do? Distract from the Epstein files, distract from the fact that I'm at a 35% approval rating, and Trump is doing the thing that he thinks will lead to a rally around the flag effect.
His son could possibly be his grandson, allegedly. They're saying that Barron is Ivanka's. Really had him. So it's sister mama. Son, a grandson. This is what happens when your daddy you can't keep your daddy out your bed. Or you can't keep him, or you can't stay out his lap. Hold on. You remember? You remember? Do you remember? Do you remember? Huh? You don't remember? Let me take you there. Now he using Biggie Smalls lyrics to celebrate. You lying. I just can't with him. Why does he always have to use somebody on the darker of the 50 Shades of Grey? I mean, the 50 Shades of Brown. What am I getting for you? Oh yeah. Yeah. And let us not forget about this one. My. Oh, yeah, this is the same one. I'm gonna get ready to go. I will be back. Let us not forget. Oh, I gotta cover it. Let us not forget. This one. Son, grandson. Sister, mama. You get it now, Specs? Barron. They say there's a possibility that Ivanka is Barron's mom. They say. I don't know. But for entertainment purposes, I'm going to say that Pickle... Yeah. And remember last week, I ran that and showed y'all how he looked more... Well, you wasn't here. Where he looked more like... Hold on. Let me... Because you must not have been here that day. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to go out on that. Let me use this guy right here. I forgot all about his little story. Then, hold on. Let me find it for you on my way out. I'm going to show you a picture. Oh, he looked just like Ivanka. And he tall like her too. Where you get that height from? Hold on. Before we go. Before I let go. Oh, did I knock it all the way down? I got our live set at 9:30. What is it? Oh, okay, hold on. Oh, I knocked it all the way down. Hold on. Oh yeah, you wasn't here this day. You wasn't here this day. Specs. Oh yeah, he looked just like Ivanka. Look at this right here. He looked more like Ivanka than anybody. Mama sister. Son, grandson. Oh yeah. Yeah. I got a live out there about this. Let me see. Open another image. Do they favor? I mean, who does Barron look like? He does creepy. Yep. And hell, you couldn't keep her off his lap. Off her daddy's lap. Couldn't keep her off his lap. And remember, he wanted, he fantasized, he did something about sleeping with her, and even said that if she wasn't his daughter, I guess what we have in common is that, sex or something he said crazy that a daddy shouldn't say about his own child. And then he wanted the little girls that he thought looked like his daughter when she was 12, 13, or they was the same age, that Katie Johnson, he wanted her or liked her because she looked like his daughter. Yeah. So he looked more like her than anybody. Look at the mouth, the nose, and the eyes. This is when your mama say, you better not sit on a man's lap. I don't care who he is. I don't care who he is. You better get your ass off his laps. Yeah, get off. Get your ass down and go in your room. Close your door. You understand? That's what our mama and big mama should have. I mean, I don't know what her mama told her, but hell, she was always on her daddy's lap. And he looked like her. Reckon he know? Okay, y'all, I'm finna get ready to go. I'll be back around 9:30. It should be a live set. Oh, I didn't make it public. Hold on. Oh, yeah, I thought you was here. Yeah, but you was out, for the holidays. Like mama like son, or like brother like sister? I mean, huh? And what's her name? Crockett. Crockett claims she has the paperwork to prove it. So when some months ago, about a month, and I said that Crockett and Barron was getting into it. And people was like, why would Barron? Barron is, yeah, okay. Because word on the political streets is that Crockett did the research. She has the DNA. Okay, well, there we go. Sister mama. So that means Trump will be daddy, granddaddy. Daddy, Paul. Daddy Paul. You big daddy for real. I mean, big, like big back, you know, like older, you know, yeah. That's sad, man. That incest mess is crazy. When your daddy is infatuated, in love with it. I mean, talk about her boobs and her butt and all that crazy shit. I'd be like, oh, mama, I gotta go. Girl, child ain't safe in the house with my daddy. Is that what you were saying? Was that your Color Purple rendition? Yeah, you know, we all got one, baby. We can show if ever you need something to recite to make it fit in, you can always pull something from the Color Purple. So she was saying, girl, child ain't safe in the house with your own daddy. Woo! Yes, ma'am. Girl, child ain't safe with her own daddy. I gotta go. I gotta go to school. She did a YouTube revealing that Barron. Yeah, yeah. I know, Janet. Yeah, I know. I just didn't cover it. Yeah. I did my own thing. Yeah. Is that all right if I do my own thing, Janet? Yeah. Hold on, y'all. Now I done forgot what I was going to show you, but I'm finna go, y'all. Let me go. I knew what I was finna do. Hold on. And again, thank you for 30 million views. I could not make it without you. 30 million views. I couldn't make it without you. 30 million views. I couldn't make it without you. Congratulations to you. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations to you, T-Sippers. Yeah, let me set this up so that y'all will see it soon as I end this. I don't know if I think I did it for 9:30. And then I'm just going to go in and change the picture. And title it appropriately. So when I end this, y'all will be able to see that I have one set for 9:30. Is that all right? Is that all right? Is that all right? Is that all right? Hi, what's the Starlight? Mama sister? Thank you, Janet. Is that what the is about? Mama sister? Daddy, granddaddy? Yeah, that's what they say. I mean, he looked just like him. Every time she turned around, she was at them parties, them scouting parties for babies and little kids. And
all right, welcome to the show, y'all. Hope everybody out there is having an awesome day.
Or she on his lap. And those Epstein files pictures are coming out. Oh, wow. Okay. So when I come back, yeah, I'm finna go because I need to put this in order. Yeah, Yeah, I ain't gonna tell y'all. I'll be back at 9:30. Bye. Peace and hair grease, baby.